Myra woke up before the sun. The city of Neo Arcadia was still quiet, with only the soft hum of automated transport in the distance. She pulled on her worn jacket and packed her satchel with a few essentials, a notebook, a pen, and a small snack. Today was another day of searching for work, another day she hoped would be different from the last. She had walked these streets for weeks, and each morning felt heavier than the one before. The city was enormous. Tall towers of glass and metal reflected the rising sun, and drones flew above, carrying packages to distant locations. Myra moved quickly through the streets, her eyes scanning the neon signs of companies and agencies. Most of them were already automated. Robots handled jobs from banking to security, and humans without special skills often went unnoticed. Myra's heart sank each time she entered a building, eager to speak, only to be turned away. At the first office she visited, she met a receptionist robot. Its voice was calm and precise. "We are not hiring humans at this time," it said. Myra tried to explain that she was willing to learn, that she could do tasks that machines could not. The robot did not respond. She thanked it politely and left, feeling a familiar weight in her chest. Her next stop was a small tech firm. A human manager looked at her resume and shook his head. "We only hire people with advanced coding skills. Robots handle the rest," he said. Myra nodded, forcing a smile, and left without arguing. She had learned that arguing never helped. Every rejection was a small cut, but she refused to give up. Myra's route through the city took her past markets, parks, and crowded streets. People moved quickly, absorbed in their own lives. Some glanced at her, others ignored her entirely. She knew she was not the only one struggling, but it did not make her task easier. She kept her chin high, even as doubt crept into her mind. By midday, Myra felt tired but did not stop. She moved to a different district where smaller businesses still hired humans. She knocked on doors, smiled politely, and explained her willingness to work. Some asked for references, which she did not have. Others asked for experience, which she lacked in the areas they needed. Each time, she walked away with nothing. Her stomach growled, but she refused to sit and feel sorry for herself. In a quiet corner of the city, she found a small cafe that still hired human help. Myra entered and asked to speak with the manager. He was a middle-aged man with tired eyes and a kind face. "I am looking for someone who is determined and willing to learn," Myra said. "I may not have experience, but I will work hard and give my best." The man looked at her for a long time. "I appreciate your honesty," he said. "But I have to be honest too. I am fully staffed, and most of the work is automated. I cannot hire you right now." Myra nodded, trying to hide her disappointment. She thanked him and left. Outside, the sun was high, and the city buzzed with activity. Myra sat on a bench for a moment, closed her eyes, and took a deep breath. She thought about her past, about the times when life had been simpler. Her parents had encouraged her to be brave and to never give up, even when the world seemed to close doors at every turn. She had taken those lessons to heart. Determined, Myra stood and walked to a nearby library. She spent hours studying manuals on robotics, coding, and survival skills. She knew that if she wanted to find a place in the world, she needed to be ready for anything. Her notebook filled with sketches, notes, and ideas. Each page was a small step toward her future. She knew that knowledge was her tool, and she intended to use it. As evening fell, Myra walked back through the streets. Lights turned on in the towers, casting a warm glow on the sidewalks. The air was cooler now, and the hum of the city was softer. She passed a group of children playing with small robots. Their laughter reminded her that joy could still be found, even in difficult times. Myra smiled to herself, feeling a flicker of hope. Her journey was far from over. Every door she had faced had closed, but she believed that there was one that would open for her. She had learned patience, resilience, and determination. She had learned to walk past disappointment without giving in to despair. These lessons made her stronger, even if the world seemed indifferent. Before returning to her apartment, Myra stopped at a small market and bought a simple meal. She sat on the steps of a building, eating slowly and watching the city around her. People came and went, each with their own struggles and victories. Myra thought about the paths they had taken, wondering if any of them had faced as many closed doors as she had. She realized that success was not just about talent but also about persistence. When night fell, Myra returned to her apartment. The small space was simple but cozy. She lit a small lamp and opened her notebook. She reviewed her plans, wrote down new ideas, and imagined the life she hoped to build. She dreamed of a place where she could use her skills, contribute to something meaningful, and find respect for her effort. Though fatigue tugged at her body, Myra felt a quiet determination. She knew that tomorrow would bring more challenges, but she also knew that she would face them with courage. She had learned to rise each time she fell. She had learned that rejection was not the end, only a sign that she had to keep moving. As Myra turned off the light and lay down, she whispered to herself, "I will find my path. I will not give up." The city outside was alive with noise and lights, but Myra felt a calm resolve inside. Every closed door had taught her something valuable. Every moment of struggle had prepared her for what was next. Myra did not yet know where her path would lead, but she knew she would walk it with courage and hope. The next morning, Myra woke with a quiet hope in her chest. She remembered the words she whispered last night. "I will find my path. I will not give up." She dressed quickly, packed her notebook, and stepped into the busy streets of Neo Arcadia. The sun had barely risen, and the city already hummed with life. Drones floated above, carrying goods to tall towers, and humans walked purposefully along the streets, some smiling, some frowning, each absorbed in their own routine. Myra felt small among them, but she also felt a spark of determination. As she walked past the central plaza, something caught her eye. A small flyer had been pinned to a lamp post. Its edges were curled, and the paper had been faded by the sun. The words were simple but intriguing: "Talent needed for unknown project, apply within." Myra's heart quickened. She looked around. The street was quiet, and there was no one near the lamp post. Carefully, she took the flyer and read it again. She had been searching for opportunity for weeks, and this was the first time she had seen an invitation that seemed genuinely meant for her. The flyer included an address on the edge of the city, a district Myra had rarely visited. It was filled with older buildings, some abandoned, others renovated with care. She followed the directions carefully, her footsteps echoing on the quiet streets. As she approached the building, she noticed it was smaller than most in Neo Arcadia, yet it had a certain charm. A soft blue light glowed from the windows, and she felt drawn toward it. Inside, the building smelled faintly of machinery and metal. The walls were lined with shelves full of strange tools and glowing devices. Myra hesitated for a moment, unsure if she should enter. Then a voice called from the back, warm and welcoming. "Hello there. You must be Myra." She turned to see a man with kind eyes and a gentle smile. He wore a lab coat over a simple outfit. "I am Dr. Sarin. Thank you for coming. Please, follow me." Myra stepped forward, feeling a mix of curiosity and nervousness. She had faced rejection so many times that it was difficult to believe someone was actually interested in her skills. Dr. Sarin led her to a small office filled with holographic screens and devices she had never seen before. The screens displayed charts, maps, and data from places beyond the city. Myra's eyes widened. She had never imagined technology like this in such a small building. Dr. Sarin gestured for her to sit. "I run a special project," he began. We are exploring areas far beyond human settlements. We are searching for new energy sources and studying uncharted planets. We need people who are brave, adaptable, and curious. People who do not give up easily. We have been watching your efforts. Your determination is exactly what we need. Myra listened in amazement. She had expected a simple job offer, something she could do in the city, not an invitation to explore the unknown. Her mind raced with questions. I want to help, she said carefully. I may not have experience with advanced technology, but I am willing to learn. I can work hard and do whatever is needed. Dr. Sarin smiled, as if he had anticipated her answer. That is exactly what we want. Experience is not as important as courage and determination. We will train you. You will learn everything you need to know before you join the mission. Are you ready to take that step? Myra nodded without hesitation. Her heart pounded with excitement and a little fear. She had never imagined that one flyer could change everything. Over the next few days, Myra returned to the building daily. Dr. Sarin introduced her to the project's purpose and the team she would be working with. Two other members, Alex and Tino, were already training and learning about the equipment. Alex was quick with calculations and mapping, while Tino had a natural talent for mechanics. Myra watched them closely, eager to learn. She realized that her persistence on the streets had prepared her for this moment. She had already developed patience, resilience, and focus qualities that machines could not replicate. Myra's first lessons were in basic equipment handling. She learned to operate scanners that could detect energy sources from miles away. She learned to wear and control exosuites that would protect her in harsh environments. At first, her hands shook with uncertainty, but she kept practicing until her movements were smooth. Alex and Tino noticed her effort. You learn fast, Alex said one afternoon. Myra smiled. I had plenty of practice trying to survive out there, she said, thinking of the endless days of searching for work. Dr. Sarin also taught Myra to read energy patterns. These signals are unusual, he explained. They could indicate a resource that has never been seen before. But they could also be dangerous. You need to stay alert, focused, and calm. Myra listened carefully, feeling a thrill of anticipation. The idea that she might discover something no one else had ever seen filled her with hope and determination. Days turned into weeks, and Myra's skills grew rapidly. She practiced navigation, emergency procedures, and teamwork exercises. She and her new friends shared stories of their lives before the project. Alex had always dreamed of exploring planets, while Tino had built small machines for fun as a child. Myra shared her experiences of rejection, failure, and determination. They listened, nodding in understanding. Myra realized that every struggle she had faced had prepared her to join this team. One evening, after a long day of training, Myra stepped outside the building to see the city lights reflecting in the quiet streets. She thought about how far she had come. Just a few weeks ago, she had been wandering the city, hoping for a single opportunity. Now, she was learning to explore the unknown, preparing for a journey that could change her life. Myra felt a sense of pride and gratitude. Every closed door had led her to this moment, to a place where she was finally seen and valued. Dr. Sarin approached her, smiling. Tomorrow, you will take your first test in simulated conditions. It will challenge everything you have learned. Are you ready? Myra looked at him, her determination steady. Yes. I am ready. As Myra returned to her apartment that night, she thought about her path. She realized that life had a way of guiding people to the right opportunity, even if it was hidden behind disappointment and struggle. She felt ready for the challenge, ready to step into the unknown, and ready to prove herself. Myra knew that her journey had only begun, but she also knew that she had finally found a place where her courage and determination mattered. She went to bed with excitement and hope. The unknown awaited her, and she was no longer afraid. Myra had discovered that persistence could open doors that seemed impossible to unlock. She had begged for a chance and had finally found it, in a place she never imagined. The next day would test her skills, courage, and mind. She was ready to meet it with confidence and curiosity, stepping forward on a path that promised adventure and discovery. Myra woke up early, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Today was the first day she would begin her full training for the project. The sun had barely risen over Neo Arcadia, and the streets were quiet except for the soft hum of drones and distant vehicles. She packed her satchel with her notebook, a water bottle, and a small energy bar. Her heart raced as she walked toward the project building, knowing that this was the step that could change her life. When she entered the training hall, she found Alex and Tino already there. Both greeted her with smiles. "Ready for your first real session?" Alex asked, his voice cheerful. Myra nodded, trying to hide the nervousness she felt. "I am ready," she said. She had spent weeks preparing herself mentally, and now it was time to test her courage and skill. Dr. Sarin arrived and addressed the team. "Today we begin your training in 3 main areas: survival, navigation, and equipment handling. Each of these skills is crucial for the mission ahead. Remember, mistakes are part of learning. Stay focused, work together, and trust your instincts." Myra listened carefully, feeling the weight of responsibility. She knew that her persistence had brought her here, but she also understood that this training would require her full effort. The first part of the day focused on survival exercises. Myra and her teammates were guided to a simulation room that replicated harsh environments. The air was controlled to mimic extreme temperatures, the ground moved to simulate uneven terrain, and holographic creatures appeared as obstacles. Myra's exosuit vibrated slightly as she adjusted it, learning to control her movements. At first, she stumbled, her foot catching on the simulated terrain. Alex quickly helped her regain balance. "Take your time. Focus on the patterns, not just the steps," he said. Myra nodded, taking a deep breath and trying again. By the end of the session, Myra had learned to navigate the terrain efficiently. She realized that her persistence in the city had prepared her for this challenge. She had walked countless streets, faced rejection, and learned to keep going. These experiences gave her the patience and determination she needed. Tino smiled as they completed the exercise. "You are improving fast," he said. Myra felt a surge of pride. For the first time, she felt capable and strong. Next, they moved on to navigation exercises. The team was placed in a large holographic map room. The walls displayed a detailed simulation of a distant planet, filled with mountains, valleys, rivers, and unknown terrain. Dr. Sarin handed Myra a small device and explained, "You will use this to map the area and identify safe paths. Accuracy is important. Mistakes could cost valuable time or put the team in danger." Myra held the device carefully, studying the holographic map. As she traced paths through the simulated terrain, Myra realized how much she had learned from her past struggles. She had developed an ability to observe, plan, and adapt. When the holographic river appeared in her path, she quickly calculated an alternative route and guided her team safely. Dr. Sarin nodded in approval. "Good work, Myra. You are learning to think ahead and anticipate challenges. That is essential for the mission." Myra smiled quietly. She felt confident, knowing that her mind was sharp and ready. The final part of the day was equipment handling. Myra and her teammates were introduced to advanced tools, scanners, and devices that would help them detect energy sources on distant planets. Each device was complex, with multiple functions and safety precautions. Myra spent hours practicing, adjusting her grip, and understanding how each tool worked. Her hands became steady, her movements precise. Alex and Tino watched in admiration as she quickly mastered techniques that had seemed complicated at first. During a break, Myra sat with her teammates and shared her thoughts. "I never imagined I would be here," she said. "Just a few weeks ago, I was struggling to find a job. Now I am training to explore unknown worlds." Alex nodded. "Your determination brought you here," he said. Tino added, "And your courage will take you further. You already inspire us." Myra felt a warmth in her chest. For the first time, she realized that her struggles were not wasted. They had prepared her to face challenges bigger than she had ever imagined. As the day ended, Dr. Sarin gathered the team. "Today was just the beginning," he said. "You have shown promise, but there is much more to learn. Tomorrow, we will introduce simulated emergencies to test your problem solving under pressure. Remember, teamwork is as important as skill. Trust each other, support each other, and you will succeed." Myra nodded, absorbing every word. She knew that the challenges ahead would be difficult, but she was ready to face them with courage and determination. Walking back to her apartment, Myra reflected on the day. Her body was tired, but her mind was alive with excitement. She had faced her first real test and succeeded. She thought about the streets she had walked, the doors that had closed, and the endless days of searching for opportunity. Each moment had taught her something valuable. Now she could see the result of her persistence. Her past struggles were the foundation of her strength. That night, Myra opened her notebook and wrote down her experiences. She drew diagrams of the terrain, notes about the equipment, and observations from the exercises. She thought about how she could improve, how she could be better prepared for the mission ahead. Writing helped her organize her thoughts and focus on the future. She knew that learning never stopped, and she was determined to keep growing. Before falling asleep, Myra looked out the window at the city below. Lights twinkled in the distance, and she felt a sense of connection with the world around her. She thought about the unknown planet she might visit, the discoveries waiting to be made, and the people who believed in her. Myra felt ready. Her journey had begun not just with a single flyer, but with her persistence, courage, and willingness to learn. She had finally found a path that promised adventure, challenge, and purpose. Myra closed her eyes and whispered to herself, "I will keep learning. I will keep growing. I will be ready for whatever comes." She felt a calm determination, knowing that tomorrow would bring new challenges. Each day of training would bring her closer to her goal, and each step would prepare her for the unknown. Myra knew that she had finally found a place where she belonged, a place where her courage, patience, and determination mattered. With that thought, Myra drifted into sleep, ready to face the next day of training with confidence and hope. Her journey toward the unknown had truly begun, and she felt stronger than ever before. The day of departure arrived. Myra woke early, her heart racing with anticipation. She dressed carefully in her standard issue exosuite, checking the seals, the control panels, and the sensors. Today she would leave Neo Arcadia and step into the unknown. She had trained for weeks, learned the skills needed to survive and explore, and now the moment had come to test everything she had learned. The city was alive with energy as Myra walked to the launch facility. Vehicles zipped past, automated trains glided silently on elevated tracks, and people hurried to their daily tasks. Myra's mind was not on the city. It was on the journey ahead, the team beside her, and the vast universe waiting beyond the familiar skyline. Alex and Tino met her at the base of the launch tower. Both wore their exosuites and carried small packs of equipment. They smiled at her, a mix of excitement and nerves reflected in their eyes. Dr. Sarin greeted them at the entrance to the launch bay. "Today marks the beginning of your mission," he said. "Remember everything you have learned. Trust your skills, your instincts, and each other. The journey will challenge you, but it will also reveal what you are truly capable of." Myra nodded. She had faced rejection, failure, and uncertainty, and each challenge had strengthened her. She felt ready. The aurora, the starship they would travel on, was massive. Its hull gleamed under the sun, reflecting the tall towers of the city. Myra's breath caught as she walked along the boarding ramp. Inside, the ship was a maze of corridors, control rooms, and storage compartments. Lights glowed softly along the walls, and screens displayed data about the upcoming journey. Myra felt a thrill run through her body. For the first time in her life, she was stepping into something entirely new, a journey no human had yet completed. Alex guided Myra to the control room. "Here, you will learn to manage navigation and environmental systems," he explained. Myra took her position, scanning the monitors and controls. Tino joined her, focusing on the mechanical systems and the ship's energy management. Together, the three of them ran through final checks, ensuring that all systems were operational. Myra's hands moved confidently, her mind recalling the lessons from weeks of training. She realized that her determination had prepared her for this moment. When all checks were complete, Dr. Sarin entered the control room. "The launch sequence will begin shortly. Stay focused and follow instructions. This journey will test your skills, your focus, and your teamwork. Trust yourselves." Myra took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. She glanced at Alex and Tino, who nodded in silent encouragement. Together, they were ready. The engines roared to life. Myra felt the vibrations through the floor of the ship, and the walls glowed with the energy of ignition. Outside the viewports, the city began to shrink as the aurora lifted smoothly into the sky. Myra's stomach fluttered with a mix of excitement and nerves. She had traveled only in simulations before, and now she was truly moving into the unknown. The stars stretched out before her, bright and endless, and she felt a sense of awe and humility. As the ship exited the atmosphere, Myra's tasks became more complex. She monitored environmental controls, adjusted navigation paths, and observed energy readings from sensors outside the hull. Alex and Tino worked alongside her seamlessly. Every command she entered, every adjustment she made, felt significant. Myra realized that the training she had received was now a part of her. Each lesson, each struggle, each failure on the streets of Neo Arcadia had built her into someone capable of facing this moment. During the long journey through space, Myra had time to reflect. She remembered the countless times she had begged for work, been turned away, and felt invisible. She thought about the long nights studying manuals, practicing skills, and preparing for opportunities that seemed unlikely. Now, those experiences had brought her to this point. Myra felt a quiet satisfaction. Every closed door had led her closer to this journey. She understood that persistence and courage were as important as skill. The ship passed through asteroid fields and regions of intense solar activity. Myra guided the aurora carefully, adjusting its trajectory and maintaining a steady speed. Each challenge tested her focus and decision-making. At one point, a sensor indicated a sudden spike in energy readings nearby. Myra quickly analyzed the data, identifying a safe path through the field. Her heart pounded, but she remained calm. Alex and Tino followed her lead, trusting her judgment. The moment passed successfully, and Myra felt a surge of confidence. As the journey continued, Myra observed the stars and distant planets through the ship's viewport. She had always dreamed of seeing the universe beyond her city. Now she was experiencing it firsthand. She realized that exploration was not just about discovering new places, but also about discovering oneself. Myra felt a deep connection with the vastness of space, a reminder that the world was much larger than her previous struggles. She was part of something greater. Night fell inside the ship as artificial lights dimmed. Myra took a moment to write in her notebook, recording her experiences and observations. She documented the navigation paths, the energy readings, and her thoughts about the journey. Writing helped her reflect and stay focused. She realized that preparation and observation were as important as action. Every decision she made could impact the mission and her team. Dr. Sarin called the team for a briefing. "We are approaching the destination orbit," he said. "This is where your training will be tested in real conditions. You will encounter unknown terrain, unusual energy patterns, and environmental challenges. Use everything you have learned. Stay calm, stay focused, and work together." Myra felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. She glanced at Alex and Tino, who shared her anticipation. They had trained together, learned together, and now they would face the unknown as a team. As the ship entered orbit around the distant planet, Myra felt a thrill of achievement. The city of Neo Arcadia was now a distant memory. Ahead of them was a world that no human had yet explored. Myra knew that her journey was only beginning, but she also knew that she had prepared herself for this moment. Her persistence, courage, and determination had brought her from rejection to opportunity, from the streets of the city to the stars above. Myra looked at the planet below, its surface glowing with strange colors and shifting patterns. She felt a mixture of awe, excitement, and responsibility. The next steps would test everything she had learned. She was ready to face the unknown, to explore new worlds, and to discover what lay beyond the familiar. Myra had taken the first step into a journey that would change her life forever, and she knew that her courage and determination would guide her through the challenges ahead. Myra's heart raced as the Aurora descended toward the alien planet. The surface was unlike anything she had imagined. Glowing plants stretched toward the sky, their colors shifting from green to blue to purple with every subtle breeze. The ground sparkled faintly as if dusted with tiny crystals. Strange, tall rock formations twisted in unusual shapes, and soft light reflected off a distant river that glimmered like liquid silver. Myra pressed her hand against the viewport, mesmerized. This was a world no human had ever seen. Alex and Tino were equally awestruck. "It's beautiful," Alex whispered, scanning the terrain with the ship's instruments. "And dangerous," Tino added, checking the exosuite sensors. Myra nodded, understanding the balance between wonder and caution. She had learned in training that beauty could hide challenges, and every step on this planet would require careful attention. Dr. Sarin's voice came over the communicator. "Prepare for landing. Remember your training. Move carefully and stay alert. Record observations and communicate clearly with your team." Myra took a deep breath and followed the instructions. The Aurora landed on a smooth plateau near a glowing forest. The engines powered down, leaving the team in a quiet, almost eerie stillness. Myra felt a thrill of excitement and a hint of nervousness. The ramp descended, and Myra stepped onto the alien soil. Her boots sank slightly into the soft ground, leaving prints that glowed faintly before fading. She adjusted her visor to filter the bright light and scanned the area. The air was breathable but carried a subtle scent that reminded her of minerals and fresh rain. Every sound was amplified in the stillness, from the rustle of glowing leaves to the hum of distant energy sources. The team moved cautiously, collecting samples of soil and plants. Myra used the handheld scanner to analyze the energy patterns around them. "There's a strong signal coming from the forest edge," she reported. Alex and Tino nodded. "We should investigate carefully," Alex said. Myra agreed, knowing that their training had prepared them for unknown terrain, but the planet could still hold surprises. As they approached the forest, the ground shifted slightly beneath their feet, revealing a narrow tunnel partially hidden by glowing vines. Myra signaled the team to stop. She studied the tunnel, observing patterns in the crystals embedded in the walls. "This looks natural, but it might lead somewhere important," she said. Tino nodded, adjusting his scanner. "I'll check for energy readings inside. Stay alert." Myra felt a mix of excitement and caution. Her curiosity was strong, but she remembered Dr. Sarin's lessons: never rush, always observe. Inside the tunnel, the team moved slowly. The walls glowed faintly, illuminating their path. Strange symbols appeared on the stone, glowing in patterns Myra had never seen before. She took careful notes and sketches in her notebook, documenting everything for Dr. Sarin. The tunnel opened into a wide chamber filled with crystalline structures that pulsed with energy. Myra's scanner beeped rapidly. "This is the source of the signals," she said. Alex examined the crystals closely, fascinated by their structure. Suddenly, the ground shifted slightly, and small energy tendrils rose from the crystals. Myra remembered her training and raised her exosuit shield. The tendrils hovered near them but did not attack. Myra observed their movement and realized they reacted to touch and movement. "They are sensitive to presence," she said calmly. Tino nodded, moving slowly to avoid triggering the energy. Myra felt a rush of adrenaline but also a calm focus. She had trained for unexpected situations, and this was one of them. The team carefully collected samples from the edges of the chamber. Myra analyzed the readings on her scanner and noted patterns of energy flow. The crystals seemed to store and release energy in pulses, like a heartbeat. "This could be a revolutionary energy source," she said quietly. Alex and Tino nodded, sharing her excitement. Myra felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. Their careful observation and teamwork were uncovering something incredible. As they prepared to leave the chamber, a faint vibration ran through the tunnel. Myra signaled the team to stop and scan the area. The crystals glowed brighter, and a low hum filled the chamber. Myra realized that the planet itself was alive in a subtle, energetic way. "We need to move carefully," she said. Alex and Tino agreed, adjusting their steps. The team exited the tunnel slowly, making sure not to disturb the energy flow. Outside, the glowing forest seemed calm again. Myra took a deep breath, feeling the fresh, mineral-rich air fill her lungs. She looked at her team, seeing the same mixture of awe and excitement reflected in their expressions. "We did it," she said quietly. "We found the source." Alex smiled. "And we did it together," he added. Myra felt a warmth in her chest. Every step of her journey, every challenge she had faced, had led her to this moment. The team spent the rest of the day exploring nearby areas, documenting the planet's flora, energy patterns, and terrain. Myra realized that every skill she had learned in training and every lesson from her past struggles were essential. Her careful observation, patience, and determination allowed her to navigate safely and make meaningful discoveries. She felt more capable than ever before. As evening approached, the sky shifted into brilliant shades of orange and purple, reflecting off the glowing plants and crystal formations. Myra and her team returned to the Aurora, carrying samples and notes for Dr. Sarin. The planet's beauty was overwhelming, but Myra felt a strong sense of responsibility. She knew that their discoveries could change life back on Earth, and she wanted to make sure every observation was accurate and meaningful. That night, Myra wrote in her notebook, documenting everything she had experienced. She sketched the tunnels, the glowing crystals, and the patterns of energy. She recorded her thoughts and feelings, realizing that exploration was not just about finding new resources, but also about understanding and respecting the unknown. Myra felt a deep connection to the planet, a reminder that the universe was vast and full of surprises. As she lay in her small cabin aboard the Aurora, Myra reflected on her journey. She remembered the countless doors that had closed on her in Neo Arcadia, the rejections, and the struggles that had once seemed insurmountable. She realized that every challenge had prepared her for this moment. Her persistence, courage, and willingness to learn had brought her from uncertainty to discovery. Myra felt proud of herself, knowing that she had finally found her path. Before sleep claimed her, Myra whispered to herself, "This is only the beginning. There is so much more to discover." She knew that the planet held many secrets, and that each day would bring new challenges and opportunities. Myra felt ready to face them, confident in her skills, her team, and her determination. She closed her eyes with a sense of calm and excitement, knowing that the journey ahead would test her, inspire her, and change her life forever. The next morning, Myra woke with a sense of anticipation. Today, the team would explore the tunnels beneath the alien planet, following the energy signals they had discovered yesterday. She dressed in her exosuite, checked her equipment, and reviewed her notes. Every detail mattered in these explorations. She had learned patience, observation, and caution, and she knew that the tunnels could hold both incredible discoveries and hidden dangers. Alex and Tino were already in the control room, checking their scanners and devices. "Ready for today?" Alex asked, smiling. Myra nodded. "As ready as I can be," she said. Tino adjusted his equipment and added, "Remember, these tunnels are unpredictable. Stay alert and follow the readings closely." Myra felt a mix of excitement and determination. She had trained for situations like this, and now it was time to put her skills into action. The team carefully descended into the tunnels, moving slowly to avoid triggering the energy crystals that pulsed faintly along the walls. Myra led the way, using her scanner to detect any unusual readings. The tunnel was narrow at first but gradually opened into a wide corridor. The walls shimmered with embedded crystals, casting soft light across the floor. Myra's visor enhanced the glow, revealing patterns that were invisible to the naked eye. She realized that the energy from the crystals seemed to interact with each other in a precise rhythm. As they moved deeper, the tunnel shifted unexpectedly. Large crystalline formations blocked their path, and Myra quickly scanned the area. "We need to find another route," she said. Alex nodded, adjusting the map on his device. Tino tested the crystals for stability and confirmed that the ground was safe, but movement had to be slow and deliberate. Myra guided the team carefully, remembering her training. Every step required observation and thought. One wrong move could disrupt the crystals or create a hazard. Suddenly, their scanners picked up unusual activity. Small, mechanical creatures emerged from the shadows, moving in patterns that suggested intelligence. Myra raised her hand to stop the team. "They are reacting to us, but they are not hostile yet. Observe their behavior," she instructed. The creatures emitted soft, rhythmic pulses of light, almost as if they were communicating. Myra analyzed the patterns and realized that the machines were protecting the energy source, responding to presence and movement rather than attacking immediately. Tino whispered, "They look like guardians. How do we pass safely?" Myra studied their movements carefully. "Slowly. Move in sync with their pulses. Avoid sudden gestures. We need to respect their patterns and remain calm." Alex and Tino nodded, trusting Myra's observation and judgment. Step by step, they advanced through the tunnel, moving in harmony with the creature's rhythm. Myra felt her heart race, but she maintained focus. Her training and past experiences of persistence gave her the confidence to lead. After several tense minutes, they reached a chamber filled with glowing crystals arranged in intricate formations. Myra's scanner beeped rapidly, showing the strongest energy readings yet. The chamber pulsed with light, casting dancing reflections on the walls. Myra realized that this was the core of the energy source. She and her team carefully documented every detail, taking measurements, sketches, and samples from the edges of the chamber. As they worked, one of the mechanical guardians shifted closer, its light pulses more intense. Myra stepped forward calmly, observing the creature. She noticed a pattern in its movement and realized that the energy crystals themselves were influencing it. "Stay still. It responds to energy patterns. We need to maintain balance," she instructed. Alex and Tino froze, following her lead. Myra extended her scanner slightly, adjusting the readings to harmonize with the crystal pulses. Slowly, the creature moved aside, allowing them to continue their work safely. Hours passed as Myra and her team explored the chamber and surrounding tunnels. Each new discovery brought excitement and careful analysis. They documented unique plant formations growing in low light, crystals with unusual energy frequencies, and patterns of light that suggested natural communication networks within the planet. Myra realized that the tunnels were more than simple structures. They were part of a complex ecosystem, blending energy, intelligence, and life in ways humans had never imagined. As they prepared to leave the chamber, a faint vibration ran through the floor. Myra scanned the area immediately. The crystals glowed brighter, and the mechanical guardians moved in synchronized patterns. "It's a response to our presence," she said. "We need to exit carefully, maintaining the same rhythm we used to enter." Alex adjusted the mapping device to record the exit path, while Tino tested the stability of the floor. Myra guided the team step by step, using every skill she had learned. Finally, they emerged into a wider corridor, the glow of the crystals fading behind them. Myra let out a quiet breath. The team had navigated the challenges without harm, gathering valuable data and samples. Alex smiled. "That was intense." "You handled it perfectly, Myra." Myra felt a sense of pride but remained focused. "We all did it together," she said. Tino nodded, adding, "Your observation and calm thinking saved us from mistakes. We learned a lot today." Back aboard the Aurora, the team reviewed their findings. Myra documented the energy patterns, mechanical guardians, and crystal formations in detail. She created diagrams and charts, explaining how the tunnels interacted with the planet's energy source. Dr. Sarin listened carefully and nodded in approval. "Excellent work. You have shown observation, patience, and leadership. Your skills will be crucial for the next stage of the mission." Myra felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Every moment of struggle, every closed door she had faced in her life, had prepared her for this achievement. That night, Myra reflected on the day's events. The tunnels had tested her abilities, her patience, and her courage. She realized that exploration was not just about discovering new worlds but also about understanding, respecting, and adapting to the unknown. Myra's confidence grew. She knew that she could face challenges far beyond anything she had imagined, as long as she remained observant and calm. Before sleep claimed her, Myra wrote in her notebook. She recorded everything she had learned about the tunnels, the crystals, and the mechanical guardians. She drew diagrams and annotated patterns of energy. She thought about the importance of teamwork, trust, and careful observation. Myra felt proud of her growth. She had moved from being a person struggling to find a simple job to someone capable of leading a team through unknown challenges. As she lay in her cabin aboard the Aurora, Myra whispered to herself, "Every step, every struggle, every lesson brought me here. I am ready for whatever comes next." She closed her eyes, feeling a calm determination. The tunnels had revealed the planet's secrets, but she knew there was much more to discover. Myra was prepared to face the unknown, confident in her skills, her team, and her own courage. The alien world held countless mysteries, and Myra felt ready to meet each one. She had found her path, and she would continue walking it with determination, curiosity, and hope. The challenges ahead would be difficult, but she knew that she had the strength to overcome them. Myra's journey was far from over, but she was no longer afraid. She had learned to turn obstacles into opportunities and uncertainty into discovery. The universe awaited, and she was ready. The morning sun rose over the alien planet, casting a golden glow across the crystalline landscape. Myra woke early, her mind alive with anticipation. Today, the team would reach the heart of the energy source they had been tracking. This was the culmination of their mission, the moment that could reveal discoveries beyond anything humans had imagined. Myra dressed quickly, checked her exosuite, and reviewed her notes. Every observation, every calculation mattered. Alex and Tino were already at the control room, adjusting equipment and reviewing the path ahead. "Are you ready?" Alex asked, smiling. Myra nodded. "I am. Let's make this count." Tino gave a confident nod, tightening the straps of his exosuit. They had trained together, learned together, and faced challenges together. Now, they were ready to step into the unknown with courage and teamwork. Dr. Sarin appeared on the communicator. This is the moment you have been preparing for. The heart of the energy source is ahead. Move carefully, observe everything, and communicate clearly. Your actions will determine the success of the mission. Myra listened intently, her resolve strong. Every closed door, every struggle she had faced in Neo Arcadia had prepared her for this journey. She was ready. The team left the Aurora and followed the glowing energy trails toward the central cavern. The path was lined with crystalline formations, pulsing softly in rhythm with the planet's energy. Myra led carefully, scanning for any signs of danger or unusual activity. The mechanical guardians from the tunnels appeared along the path, moving in familiar patterns. Myra guided the team to avoid triggering them, maintaining the same rhythm that had allowed safe passage before. As they entered the central cavern, Myra's eyes widened. The space was enormous, with towering crystals that emitted light in multiple colors. Energy pulses traveled along the walls and floor, converging at the center into a massive crystalline structure. The heart of the energy source radiated power, casting reflections that danced across the cavern. Myra felt a mixture of awe and responsibility. This was a discovery that could change the understanding of energy and life itself. Alex activated the scanners and began analyzing the energy flow. The patterns are more complex than we expected, he said. It's like a living system, responding to movement and observation. Tino adjusted the instruments to measure the energy output. We need to document everything carefully. One mistake could disrupt the balance, he added. Myra nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. Every step had to be precise, every observation accurate. Myra approached the heart of the crystals carefully. She extended her scanner, recording energy flows and frequencies. She noticed that the energy pulsed in a pattern similar to a heartbeat, rising and falling in a steady rhythm. The mechanical guardians hovered nearby, responding to her presence but not showing aggression. Myra realized that the energy and the guardians were linked, part of a protective system designed to maintain balance within the cavern. As she took notes, Myra observed subtle changes in the energy patterns. The crystals seemed to respond to her thoughts and movements, pulsing more brightly when she focused and more gently when she stayed still. Myra shared her observations with Alex and Tino. It reacts to attention and care. The energy system might be intelligent in its own way, she explained. Alex nodded in agreement, amazed. It's like the planet itself is alive and aware, he said. Tino added, we need to respect it while we study it. The team began collecting samples from the edges of the heart, careful not to disrupt the energy balance. Myra guided their movements, analyzing the crystals and recording patterns. She noticed that the energy pulses could be synchronized with small adjustments in their scanners, creating a stable flow that allowed safe observation. Her training, patience, and focus made this possible. Myra realized that every challenge she had faced, every lesson she had learned, had led to this moment. Hours passed as they documented the cavern and its energy system. Myra recorded diagrams, notes, and observations in her notebook. She sketched the layout of the crystals and the paths of energy flow. Alex and Tino assisted, ensuring that every measurement was accurate. Dr. Sarin monitored from the Aurora, providing guidance and feedback. Myra felt a deep sense of accomplishment. They were not only explorers but careful students of this alien world, learning without disturbing the balance of life and energy. As the day progressed, Myra observed a subtle change in the mechanical guardians. Their movements became synchronized with the energy pulses, creating a pattern of harmony throughout the cavern. Myra realized that this was an opportunity to understand the system more deeply. She instructed Alex and Tino to adjust their scanners to harmonize with the pulses. Slowly, the cavern seemed to resonate with their presence, as if acknowledging their careful study and respect. This is incredible, Alex whispered. We are communicating with the planet in a way we didn't think possible. Myra smiled quietly. It's about observation, patience, and respect. We are not taking control, we are learning to move with it, she said. Tino nodded, impressed by Myra's insight and leadership. Together, they continued documenting and analyzing, feeling a deep connection to the alien world. As evening approached, the cavern glowed in soft, radiant colors. Myra and her team stood back, observing the heart of the energy source. They had achieved something extraordinary, understanding and connecting with a living system of energy that had existed for millennia. Myra felt proud, not only of the discoveries but also of the journey that had brought her here. Every struggle, every rejection, every moment of persistence had led to this accomplishment. Dr. Sarin communicated one final message for the day. Excellent work. Your careful observation, patience, and teamwork have allowed you to reach the heart of the energy source without disruption. This is a milestone in human exploration. Rest and prepare for the next stage, which will involve detailed analysis and safe extraction of knowledge and resources. Myra nodded, feeling a mixture of satisfaction and anticipation. Back aboard the Aurora, Myra documented the day's events thoroughly. She wrote down observations, diagrams, and energy readings. She reflected on the journey, thinking about the obstacles she had faced in Neo Arcadia and the skills that had brought her to this moment. Myra felt a sense of closure and accomplishment. She had begged for opportunity, been turned away, faced countless challenges, and now she was standing on the edge of discovery, ready to contribute to knowledge that could benefit all of humanity. As Myra lay in her cabin, she looked out at the glowing planet below. The journey had been long and difficult, but she had found her path. She whispered to herself, persistence, courage, and patience brought me here. I will continue to learn, explore, and grow. She closed her eyes, feeling a calm confidence and excitement for the future. Myra knew that her journey was far from over, but she had proven that determination and courage could turn obstacles into opportunities. The alien world pulsed gently beneath her, a reminder that exploration was not just about reaching new places, but about understanding and respecting the unknown. Myra felt ready for whatever challenges awaited, confident in her skills, her team, and her ability to face the future. She had discovered that true achievement was born from persistence and courage, and that every closed door could lead to a new path of wonder and opportunity. Myra drifted into sleep, her mind alive with thoughts of new discoveries and the promise of adventures yet to come. She had found her place in the universe, a place where her determination and curiosity mattered, and where the unknown could be faced with confidence and respect. The journey had begun in the streets of Neo Arcadia, and now it stretched across the stars, filled with promise, learning, and discovery. Myra was ready to embrace it all.